welcome back to Pseudo Gameplay TV for another character analysis. Today, we will be having a look at the goddess of elements and the weather, Storm. Storm is quite an interesting character. She's been for quite some time, first appearing in Giant Size X-Men #1 in May of 95. So she's a well-known character, quite beloved. Good reason. There's a lot of really cool things that she can do that are pretty unique to her. Storm's name by birth was Aurora Monroe, and she has a quite interesting and unique set of powers to only her, or not only her, because other people have exhibited them as well, but she's definitely the most famous for what she does. She's an expert tactician and thief. She has the psionic ability to manipulate weather patterns over a vast area, so it's not just immediate to her vicinity, as well as the ability to control atmospheric pressure, modify temperature, has ecological empathy, and can fly, which is always a nice little bonus. Now, the team that we have set up for Aurora or Storm is not able to balance out all of her full synergies. I don't have a setup that actually is conducive to that. But her attacks work well in pretty much any team dynamic. Now, you do get Storm quite late stage in the main story of the game, but she's very well worth considering as an addition to your team right off the bat. So her first attack that she has access to is the Whirlwind, where she calls forth a tornado. This is a bit different from the attack that we saw from Star-Lord in the last installment, where you can actually hold this button to increase the attack duration, and you can use the left control stick to control the path where it goes. Very unique in comparison to the other wind-type attacks that we've seen. Her second attack, the Ice Barrage, will summon blocks of ice that rain down from the sky and freeze the surrounding area. This is an ability that you can charge as you hold down that button as well. And that can be used quite tactily in a myriad of different matchups. Her third attack that she has ability or access to, the Lightning Strike, which of course is kind of Storm's calling card, allows her to release a powerful surge of electricity in every direction. So kind of an area of effect right around where she is, instead of a semi-multi-directional attack with one of the attacks we saw from Star-Lord. Now, her final attack and ability that she gets access to is the Lightning Storm, where she summons an electrical strike. So this one seems to be less of an area around the character, as it is just a general ability that she has access to. Now, the team that we do have set up maximizes a good amount of her synergies, though it doesn't do all of them. We have a few synergies met with Nightcrawler, a few synergies met with Star-Lord, and we brought along Elsa Bloodstone for a couple of final quick synergies, more specifically an increase to the energy damage, as that's primarily how Storm operates. But let's cut the chatter and get right into the matchup and jump into an Infinity Rift and showcase how Storm plays and controls. Alright, so right off the bat, it is important to note that yes, Storm can fly, which is quite beneficial for a lot of her different attacks that she has access to. Her medium or standard light attacks are mostly ranged, where she will just kind of attack out in front of her, and they do auto-target, so you don't have to be too concerned about being too directional with them. Her heavy attack does consist of a little Wind Barrage that has an element of knockdown against smaller grunt-type opponents, and her aerial attack, she will send an Ice Brick crashing down on top of the opponents in her area. Now, in terms of her abilities, we first have the Whirlwind, which let's go ahead and just kind of showcase here right in front of her, as this is an attack that you have some direction and control over. And it's nice for zoning out grunt type enemies. more than anything else. Now, as we get a little bit deeper into this, I'm going to zip over here and grab this ability. And let's get right into the fray and summon the second ability, the Ice Barrage. And this does have an element of freezing anywhere that you have opponents that get stuck in this area of effect. And remember that this is one that you can charge and then unleash all at once. And you'll notice that even though some of these opponents with their stagger bars did not have it depleted, it was still able to keep them under wraps. Now, her third ability, the Lightning Strike, is an area pretty immediate around her, but it will send any lighter enemies flying back, as well as providing a good amount of pressure to opponents with shields and stagger bars. Now, for her fourth and final attack, the Lightning Storm, this will send out a flurry of lightning strikes in the direction that the character is facing. So do keep that in mind as you go to use that attack. Overall, in terms of crowd control, you're going to find that her Ice Barrage is one of the most useful, as it will leave an area of effect out on the battlefield for a good period of time, which will freeze even some of the more tough opponents that you have. Of course, it's not going to do anything against the actual bosses in most fights, but still important to keep in mind. Now, in terms of her ultimate attack, this is the way that it kind of looks, where she will unleash a massive tornado, pick any small characters up off the ground, and then slam them back down onto the ground. And deal just massive concussive amounts of damage. Overall, I again do find that this Ice Barrage does seem to be one of, if not her most beneficial attack, as you can leave even some of the more difficult opponents completely immobilized and provide a fair amount of crowd control as well. So this used in tandem with, for example, Miles Morales' Electro Web would be a quite effective use of doling out mass amounts of damage. Let's grab one of these to top off the health there, and then we will finish out that trial with that Lightning Strike. So Storm is very, very effective and efficient for quick bursting damage, and you've got to really need to be putting the hurt down on people in order to fully utilize her, but she's quite the powerhouse, and you'll have fun using her regardless. We'll be back on Friday with another character analysis. Next one will be for Thor, the God of Thunder, and I think you're going to like what we've got lined up for him, as well as he's got some pretty fun mechanics to play around with. But until then, thanks again for your support. I know that you really enjoy these videos, so if this is what you're here for primarily, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on all of these character analyses as they come available. But thanks again for your support, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Take care.